What is up, guys? This is John, aka Pokemon, coach of the New Orleans Pelippers, bringing you guys my Week 11 match of the 6th season of the GBA against George, coach of the San Francisco Arcaniners. Please go check him out. His link will be down below. George is one of my best friends, and he's also one of the best Draft League battlers around, period. I stand by that. I said it earlier this season. I will say it again. The man is incredible, and I've also played him earlier this season. You know, not only is he one of my good friends, he's in my division. I'm playing him for a second time, and this match is incredibly important for both of our playoff hopes. If I lose, I'm out of running, and that's it. You know, next battle doesn't matter. I just have no chance to make the playoffs. And if he loses, there's a really good chance I take his playoff spot away from him, and I could just make the playoffs over him or over someone else. So pretty much whoever loses could be out of a playoff spot, and whoever wins most likely makes the playoffs. It's a lot more guaranteed for him than me, because if I lose, I'm just out. And if he loses, I think he still has a chance to make it, and even if I win, I'm not guaranteed to make it. So a little bit complicated. Either way, very important match. Even a little bit more important for me, because I lost 1-0 to him earlier this season. A big thing that really disappointed me in that game, I miss a 90% accurate move, so I don't kill the goddamn Melodic, and the Melodic went on to ravage me, and I lose by a small margin. This time he doesn't have Melodic, and that's why I bring it up, because I don't have the Grand Bull that missed, and he doesn't have the Melodic. Melodic is my Achilles heel. I always lose to that Mon whenever I play it, and Grand Bull's not here to disappoint me. We got Milk Tank, which should help a little bit more in this matchup, and while Manaphy is very scary, it's not going to just wall my team like Melodic and ravage me. At the same time, though, Manaphy could sweep me, because it's a Manaphy and it's terrifying, and a Mamoswine is also incredibly terrifying, so I'm not happy he has either of those acquisitions. It makes his team a little bit more frightening. None of my trades went through at the deadline, so I haven't really changed too much with my squad. His got a lot scarier, and it's going to be very interesting. But at the same time, there's a lot more riding on this game for me. If I lose, the season's over, and it'll just be the end of a disappointing season. The first time the Pelippers don't make the playoffs in GBA history, and I don't want that to happen. I also don't want to go 0-2 against George this season, so there's a lot of things riding on this, and it's time to redeem myself. So, without further ado, let me get into this team, and the first mon is Milk Tank. Now, this one was really difficult. I ended up having to put Fire Punch over Stealth Rocks, which I was disappointed about, but I had to do it, or I just couldn't touch Fortress at all. And that would have been a big issue, and I just don't have a ton on my team in general to deal with Fortress. That would have made it just somewhat manageable. I didn't know if he would bring it. He didn't bring it, which is a little unfortunate. Now I rather would have Stealth Rocks, but the Fire Punch, you know, I put on what I had to put on. Beyond that, we do have Rocky Helmet, Max Offensive, Milk Drink, Heal Bell, and Body Slam, which is actually going to be pretty decent against most of his team. Obviously, I'm not trying to take the special hits from the Manaphy or, you know, Nidoqueen, Gardevoir if they're specially offensive, but I can pretty much wall things like the Mamoswine. The Infernape's going to do a ton of damage with close combat, but he doesn't want to take the Rocky Helmet, and I should be able to deal with the Snorlax. Mega Lopunny is going to have Fake Out, Quick Attack, Return, and High Jump Kick. I need the High Jump Kick to get that extra damage off on the Manaphy. Also, it's going to be great for the Mamoswine and the Snorlax. And we do have Return to hit everything neutrally, which is great. Fake Out and Quick Attack, because Quick Attack is going to be great on things like the Infernape to hit the Mamoswine before it hits me with an Ice Shard. You know, if his Gardevoir is Scarfed again, it'll be nice there. It'll just be nice in general to have that priority, and Mega Lopunny is going to be great for this matchup. We then have a Scarfed Landorus. The best thing he did is make his team even more weak to ground, so I'm really happy about this. It's just a standard Scarfed Landorus, Earthquake, U-Turn, I think Stone Edge. I could be wrong, Stone Edge, and then Explosion, as Explosion is just going to be a really good thing. Did something on his team very hard. I kind of hope I get to use Explosion, because I'm excited to have Explosion and be serious about it, but I don't know if that's actually going to happen. And either way, I think it's cool to have Explosion on Landorus. The next mon is actually a set I'm very proud of. It is Crownicle, Never Melt Ice, Freeze Dry, we have Rapid Spin, and then we have Water Pulse and Haze. Haze is going to be good if he decided to bring the Snorlax, which he did, unfortunately. If he tries to curse on me, I'm going to cry, and at least I won't just get 6-0'd by it because of that. I also have the ability to Haze the Manaphy if it's really freaking me out, and the Freeze Dry is going to smack it, which is great, and Water Pulse to hit everything that Freeze Dry isn't going to hit. I mean, obviously, thick, fat Snorlax is going to, you know, annoy me anyways, but I do have a super effective move for the Mamoswine and the Infernape now, which is great. Reuniclus is going to be Assault Vest, 3 attacks, and Endeavor. We got the Psyshock, Shadow Ball, and Energy Ball, and not really too much to say. It's my main thing to switch into things, and that'll be fantastic. It'll put a lot of pressure on his team, which is great. The final mon is a Yachi Berry, Calm Mind, Latios, with Psyshock, Energy Ball, and I'm pretty sure the last move is Dragon Pulse. And this guy is going to be able to outspeed everything on his team that is not Scarfed. I should be able to do a lot of damage to the Mamoswine. I'll live the Ice Shard too with Yachi Berry, which is really nice. And I hit pretty much everything super effectively except for the Snorlax. And I think instead of Dragon Pulse, it was Shadow Ball that I'm thinking about so I can smack the Gardevoir. That's going to be the team. I'm going to actually lead off with the Milk Tank in case he wants to lead off with the Mamoswine. I can't get up rocks right away, but that's just how that is. At least I won't let him get a lot of pressure on me quickly with Mamoswine. I can just get rid of its sash if it has that and all that good stuff. But he leads off with Gardevoir. I don't know what he was exactly expecting. Maybe it was the Mega Lopunny. But either way, I have to switch out, and I'm going to go into my Reuniclus, as that's going to be the best mon I have to deal with this Gardevoir. And I do have Shadow Ball. I don't really think it's going to have much to hit me. It just goes for the Moon Blast. That's going to do Diddly Squat, which is pretty fine with me. And now I'm going to go for the Endeavor in case he goes for the Shadow Ball, so I can get a lot of damage off on this thing. And this wasn't the smartest play. I probably should have just gone for the Shadow Ball. At the same time, it doesn't matter as he shows Wish and Leftovers. So either way, I could have Shadow Balled. He's obviously going to have Protect for my Mega Lopunny as well. I don't get anywhere with that. You know, what I can do here is let him bring me down a little bit more and then go for the Endeavor. But the scary thing is if he has Pursuit, like Banded Snorlax, he could take out my Reuniclus right away, which would be very scary, and I can't deal with that. So even though I get the Special Defense drop crit on this thing, which would allow me to 1v1 this a lot easier, I can't do anything about it because if he does have that Pursuit Banded Snorlax, I'm dead if he switches that in on a Shadow Ball. So I have to get out of there. He's going to be able to stay in with the Gardevoir, and he's just going to go for a Protect. The Scout to see if I have Focus Blast. I'm not ready to show him whether or not I have Focus Blast, as that's going to be really important in this matchup. And I've already seen him have Protect, so I just don't really have much of a reason to try to go for that. He has no reason to make any crazy switches. He has the Protect, so he can continue scouting. So he clearly felt fine with that. I'm happy with my little double switch action. I don't have to show him that I don't have Focus Blast, and instead he's going to have to be left wondering. So goes for another Moonblast. I'm low again, and I think here I go for the Endeavor, predicting him to switch out into the Snorlax. But I felt like I was at a good enough amount of HP that depending on what Snorlax that he is, I should live unless he's like Adamant Banded Pursuit and gets a max roll. So I'm feeling good about this. Snorlax is close to half health, which is really nice. It's a huge threat on my team. I don't want to deal with it at all. So I'm going to go into the Milk Tank to take a return from this thing, or a Crunch if he wants to go for it. He does just go for the return here, and he gets a very unfortunate crit. Now this is unfortunate because I have to go for a Milk Drink this turn. There's nothing else I can really do. I just have to go for that, and instead of going for Body Slam, and he's going to be able to get a Curse up, and I'm just going to have to get up to full health. So getting a Body Slam off before the Curse, which would have done a lot more damage to him, brought him closer down to red, would have been great. Instead, he's still at half. He gets a Curse up, he's going to get his health back, and he's going to show Protect after this. So he's looking really pretty, and here I begin wondering, am I going to get swept by a goddamn Curselax? And I was getting really terrified that this was my fate. We go into George, the biggest game of the season. I'm trying to redeem myself, and I'm going to get swept by a Protect, one attacking move it looks like, Curse Snorlax. And that is the saddest thing in the world. And here, I don't have much of a choice. He's going to have to attack me, and it's going to hurt the Rocky Helmet and hurt him more. I could get a Paralyze, and my thought was, go for Body Slam here. Next turn, he'll probably Protect, and then you can go into the Lando. And even if he doesn't Protect, you get the attack down. He's not going to do as much damage anyways. You'll be able to live, and you can get off a superpower and at least bring him into a range where you might be able to revenge kill him. I'm going to lose the Landorus, but I don't have anything else to do. Really good planning on his part has given him one of the better sets I've ever gone against, and the Snorlax is terrifying. So he's going to go to the return. Thank freaking God he didn't get a crit. If he got a crit here, I think it might have just been over, which would have been terrible. There's like not much I could have done. We could have had the mind games with a Protect and high jump kick, but it would have been awful. He does go for the Protect here, so I can't go for the Explosion I desperately wanted to go for. I mean, if I exploded on a Protect, I probably would have just run away. That's the end of me in the GBA. I'm out. I'm going to get 6-0'd because I just exploded on a Protect. It would have been terrible. I do have the superpower. It brings him down decently low. It's not as low as I would have wanted, but it is progress. The only way he is healing up is through Leftover, so it's not the worst thing in the world. And what I'm going to do here is start to play unbelievably risky, because if you want to win it all, you really got to play risky. You got to make big moves, and that is the mindset I'm now in because I don't have anything else to do. I knew he was going to protect on my Cranigal. He wants to see what the Cranigal is going to do. He can just Oko the Cranigal. Why would I go into it? Well, I went into it because I can haze through your protect and get rid of your boosts, which is actually incredible. It makes the Chronicle just bringing it completely worth it this week. It doesn't have to do anything else. It just Haze did not die, and the Snorlax is not as big of an issue. So I'm going to go into my Reuniclus, and I'm going to try to scare him out with the prospect that I might have Focus Blast. He still doesn't know that I don't have it, and if I do go for the Focus Blast, there's a really good chance I could kill him, and that'd be great. So I'm going to now switch into Mega Lopunny, predicting him to go for the Protect, to be scared and scouting for the Focus Blast. Another really terrifying play, because if you went for return, I could have just lost the Lopunny, and this is a huge win condition. I think it is my win condition now that I lost my Lando. So, after all of those risky plays and making the right predictions, I am in on the Lopunny. I have to go for the high jump kick. I don't care what he switches out into, I have to go for this. There's no other, well, I mean, there is a different play, but that is my best play right there. I go for it, and again, I miss another high jump kick, which is huge. I just lost half the health on my win condition because missed a 90 accuracy move. So at this point, I just know I'm going to lose. And here he goes for superpower. I missed, I was calking, and for the rest of the game, I had to try to figure out what move he had missed. So keep that in mind. I don't know he missed Super Fang. I'm trying to figure out, and my first thought was he missed Mega Horn, because I know that's something that Nidoking can have, and it would be really good against my Reuniclus. I didn't find out till after the game he didn't have Mega Horn. Fast forward to now, I'm going to go into Mega Lopunny, making another huge play, predicting him to Wish, so he can get back in the Snorlax and sweep me. So again, I have risked a win condition. If he had gone for Moonblast, the game is over. But now, there's no way that he can go into Snorlax and get the Wish, which is great. And I'm just going to go with a Fake Out, expecting him to either stay, and he's not going to go into the Snorlax. Stay in or just go into this thing, and it'll be fine. He does have the Rocky Helmet. Unfortunately, I couldn't have found that out with a high jump kick, and now I just lose even more health here instead of just being able to switch out, knowing this would happen. Whatever, it happens. I have to go into the Milk Tank, and he goes for Earthquake. And this solidifies in my mind this is a physical, offensive Nidoqueen. I thought he went for Mega Horn, and now I'm convinced he went for Mega Horn when he missed the move, because I didn't see what he went for, I just saw he missed as I was calculating different moves. So, convinced that is physical Nidoqueen, which is great. It's not going to be as scary physical with the Rocky Helmet. I feel like I can deal with it. I just go for a Body Slam. I know this thing's coming in, and I think from this range, I can 1v1 the Snorlax with my Milk Tank. So I'm going to be able to go for a Body Slam. Going to do some decent damage to him before the Curse. Obviously, he can Curse this turn, but I don't really have much else to do. I'm just going to hope that maybe I can get a little bit of luck, get a Body Slam Para eventually, and that plus him hurting himself through return will allow me to actually beat the Snorlax. So he doesn't go for Protect here, which is fantastic. I think it's kind of a misplay on his part. There's no reason to not do that and just get health back. He does get paralyzed here. He's going to get the return, and the Paralyze isn't really the biggest deal in the world. I mean, maybe if he didn't get paralyzed, he would have just gone for the Protect, and actually he probably would have, but with the Protect, I'm just going to Milk Drink here. He's going to return. He's not going to get paralyzed, so he will be able to hit me with a return, and it will kill off the Snorlax, and now I'm not going to get 6-0'd, which is beautiful, because at this point, I'm thinking, wow, I somehow did not get 6-0'd by that Snorlax. The only reason I'm in this position is because I just made all of those crazy plays. I'm pretty proud of myself. But now we gotta keep that going, and we're gonna have to switch into Latios and just pray that he does not go for the U-turn. I'm pretty confident he's gonna go for the close combat, and if he goes to close combat, I know I can outspeed and kill him next turn. I mean, if he's scarfed with close combats, he wouldn't even be able to kill, and I wouldn't expect him to do that because he would just lose this, but either way, I'm feeling pretty good about that, and I'm going to make another prediction and predict him to go into the Gardevoir and go for a Shadow Ball. I know it's not going to two-shot him, which is a little bit unfortunate, but at least this way I'll put more pressure on him, and rather than him trying to heal something else up or just being at full health and being able to Moonblast my team, he's going to have to worry about his health, and that is very, very beautiful if you ask me. So, I'm going to switch my little ass out of there and go into Reuniclus, as this is probably the only thing I have that can beat this Gardevoir. Beautiful thing is, if he wants to bring me down into low, I'm just going to Endeavor him, and he's just going to go for Moonblast. And what this is going to turn into a battle of who's going to get the drop first. Is he going to get the special attack drop, or am I going to get the special defense drop? Special attack, special defense should be very interesting to see. He does just go for the protect here, and I have a really big advantage in this little war because I can switch out and get my health back, and he can't. Like, if he gets the drop and I get low, I can get out of there and I'll be fine. He can wish protect, but the difference is if I get a drop on him, it's a lot scarier, and he doesn't really want to switch anything that's left on his team into a Shadow Ball, or just in on the Reuniclus in general. At this point, nothing big's really happened. He's probably just going to get all of his health back, which is kind of unfortunate. But again, I just don't really have much to do. And once this Gardevoir is out of the way, I might actually have a chance to win. Something that I did not think was possible, just with everything that was happening in the beginning. And it gives me hope, but it's not a ton of hope, because I need to be able to 1v1 this Gardevoir. He's the guy getting health back. He goes for a Moonblast here. Going to drop me to pretty much half. I go for a Shadow Ball here. And I think this is the turn that I actually do get the special defense drop, which is beautiful. So, on this turn, I know he's going to protect. He's either going to protect or switch out, so I'm going to go for the Psyshock. Psyshock, obviously, would just kill his Infernape, would do a ton of damage to Manaphy and a ton of damage to Manamoswine. So I can go for that, put that in his head. He's not going to switch now, and even if he does, I'm fine hitting any of his other members on the team with a Shadow Ball. He is actually going to stay in, just go for the Moonblast. And I will be able to kill off this Gardevoir with a Shadow Ball, which is great. Nothing on his team has Pursuit, so I will not lose this Reuniclus no matter what happens. I can switch out, get my Regenerator boost, and that is awesome. The Gardevoir is no more. It is super dead, and he does go into the Infernape now. And fortunately enough for me, he can't go for the close combat, because if he doesn't kill, I could just kill him off, and that would be terrible. So I can go into my thick, fat, max defensive Milk Tank. Flare Blitz will not kill, and he will take Flare Blitz recoil and Rocky Helmet recoil, which is amazing. I don't need this Milk Tank at all anymore. It'd be nice to have it for the Mamoswine, but there was no way I was going to be able to Milk Drink up anyways. So I'm feeling pretty good to just let this thing die. He's going to go for that close combat. That is going to hurt him a little bit with Rocky Helmet. We do lose the Milk Tank, but it's really not a big deal. We can go back into Latios, and we are kind of guaranteed a kill here. Psyshock plus Energy Ball will kill anything he switches into, and Psyshock will just kill this thing. So, if he wants to stay in and go for the Mach Punch I'm expecting him to go for, that's fine with me. It's whatever. If he really wants to do that, it's a little bit of health, and it makes it a little bit scarier with the Mamoswine, but unless he's like Adamant Life Orb with the Yache Berry, he can't kill with the Ice Shard, so that is great. This guy is going to go down, and I'm feeling very good right now. I feel like I'm in a very good position. And things are looking a lot better than they did in the beginning. So he does bring out the Mamoswine. I'm going to go for the Energy Ball. He doesn't go for Ice Shard, so I assume that he's Focus Sash, and that he wanted to make sure he would kill. Because if he was Life Orb, he would have had a chance to kill depending on his set and all that stuff. And he doesn't show Life Orb here, so, you know, knockoff was probably the best play. But it does allow me to get a ton of damage off on him there, and I can go into Cranigal. He has -5 switch-ins to a Freeze Dry. He gets a little bit of damage off with an Ice Shard, but that is fantastic because I outspeed everything left on his team now. But I have to think about endgame. I need to close this game. What is the only way I could lose this game? Sucker Punch, physically offensive Nidoqueen. So he goes into this, and I think he's going to go into Manaphy, get Scald damage on my Cranigal so he can kill me off with a Sucker Punch. I'm going to go into Reuniclus, and he actually Tail Glows here, which I thought was interesting because 2 Freeze Dries kills. I don't know why. Maybe he expected me to switch. Either way, it's going to net him a kill with the Reuniclus, which is a little bit unfortunate, but my Cranigal is still at the health that I want it to be at, and I'm still feeling pretty confident. It's a little bit scarier now, but I can go into my Mega Lopunny, and I'm just going to go for a Fake Out here. I don't care if he goes into the, the Nidoqueen. It is what it is. It's unfortunate. But it's going to make sure that he switches out, and he still can't OHKO my Cranigal anyways, so I feel pretty good if I can get enough damage on this. And actually, I go for Return, predicting him to go into Nidoqueen. Go me for doing that. But here, because of my miss and me losing 50% earlier in the game, I go for the Quick Attack because Sucker Punch would have a chance to kill, which would have been terrible, and I want to get as much damage as I can on that. And he goes in the Manaphy, and I really wish I would have just gone for the Return. He does go back into the Nidoqueen, and I'm just going to return here. And here I'm going to go for another quick attack, and at this point it really doesn't matter because I'm going to die to Rocky Helmet anyways. I live with one. I'm going to die. It doesn't really matter. And, you know, if he has Sucker Punch, he probably wins the game here, which is really unfortunate, but he goes for Super Fang. And that makes me think, I think I won this game. He didn't actually have Sucker Punch. I didn't have to make all those plays. Well, so, I mean, a little shame on me, but it's over. Freeze Dry is going to two-shot the Manaphy, and the only way he could beat me is if he gets, like, a crit, or if he has, like, Hydro Pump, or he does something I haven't thought of. I go for the Freeze Dry. I know there was a chance with the Quick Attack and Freeze Dry with rolls, a chance to kill. I don't kill, but then it happens. He gets the Salic Berry, and he goes for Tail Glow. And I do not like having to relive this, as this was the worst I have ever felt finishing any Pokemon battle ever. This was the hardest video pretty much I've ever had to narrate, or just battle. I guess battle would be the best term. It was the hardest battle to narrate, and there's gonna be a long rant here because my season's over. You know, GBA season 6, the Pelippers for the first time in history are not going to be going to the playoffs, and we're gonna end a very bad season with an unbelievable loss. Now, there's so many different things that go into this loss, but the thing that upsets me most is I beat myself in this game after being in a spot where I was convinced during the battle, like in the mindset, I was convinced I was going to get 6-0'd. I didn't know what I could do to get myself out of the position, and I made a string of plays that I would probably consider, you know, my best plays, you know, back to back, like all together. This was probably actually my best game I've ever played, like my best Pokemon game when it comes to predicting and just doing everything I could to win. And we get to the end, and there's only two things in all of Pokemon, I'm pretty sure, beyond maybe a crit. And I don't even think a crit would have done it. Maybe a crit Scald Burn would have been enough to end my Chronicle. The only two things that could have happened at the last second of the game to lose it for me would be Sucker Punch and Nidoqueen, which made a lot of sense against my team, and him living and getting a Salic Berry boost. I was never going to see Salic Berry coming there, and especially after he had Tail Glowed before the Manaphy. That was him just giving up. There was nothing else he could have done. I Freeze Dry there. He gets a Salic boost. Good for him. I go into Reuniclus. That he kills that. Okay, sweet. I go into Lopunny. Fake out Quick Attack. It's dead. Or he just goes in the Nidoqueen and then fake out, return, Freeze Dry, I win. So it's not like he saved the Salic Berry at the end, you know, in this move of genius to beat me. He had already gone. He had nothing else left to do, and I beat myself. So worried that he'd have Sucker Punch, one of the only two things that could have beat me. The only one I thought of. I didn't think Salic Berry was even an option, and it's the worst feeling in the world. I feel like I did everything I possibly could, and it's just like, you know, no matter how hard I try, it's just my best isn't good enough, and that's what I came away from this battle feeling. My best isn't good enough. What else could I have done there? And there's so many things that happened. You know, if that miss didn't happen, if the high jump kick miss didn't happen, I don't lose, because at the end of the game, the only thing that changes is I go for return as he switches in the Manaphy, predicting a double or trying to catch me off guard. And, you know, like, that's it. That's the only thing that changes in that battle. And then I beat him because of that, you know? Because the only reason I was going for Quick Attack is I was so low in a range because of the miss that had dropped me to 50, that a Sucker Punch was in range if he was max offensive to kill me. You know, if I hadn't been an idiot, you know, doing calcs for different things in the game, and I had seen that it was Super Fang he missed, I wouldn't have thought he had Sucker Punch. I assumed he had Mega Horn. I did the calc for Mega Horn, didn't look at the team builder because I assumed if Nidoking gets this move, Nidoqueen most likely gets this move. They both have a goddamn horn. And, you know, I play wrong because I expect him to be offensive. With Mega Horn, Earthquake, it makes sense. Physically offensive. Sucker Punch is a great move to have against me in general. But nope, Super Fang. If I saw that, I'd probably win because I don't predict Sucker Punch. And it's so hard to sit here and go through all these different scenarios. If I don't miss, I don't not see the move because I'm a moron. or if I just don't play so stupidly thinking about Sucker Punch. I shouldn't have gone for the quick attack on the Nidoqueen anyways. It didn't matter. The quick attack damage wouldn't matter. I would have killed with freeze drive anyways. I should have just gone for the return no matter what, and it cost me the game, and I don't know. It's a bad feeling. I know I'm kind of ranting and going in loops, but it's been bothering me ever since it happened, and that's it. That's the season. George is going to the playoffs, and I'm happy for him. I'm going to be rooting for him, but I'm gonna miss out, and it's another fun scenario of, wow, we played George. That video I made 2 years ago, sometimes he always hacks me. Coming back. This one really wasn't that bad, you know? It's not that quick attack, or the high jump kick miss isn't like directly why I lost. I fucking lost the game for myself. High jump kick miss, you know, was pretty unfortunate, but you know, you still gotta have this idiot who's in a position where you just click freeze dry and then it's over. And I just didn't do it. I switched in Reuniclus. But you guys saw the match. You've heard everything I have to say. You don't have to hear about this anymore. We have one more game this season against Tom. We both are out of the playoffs. We've both had pretty bad seasons, at least for our own standards, when we were in the GBA, or when he was in the GBA before, and just my own standards. So the game means nothing. It's going to be interesting to see what we do. I don't know if we're going to give it everything we have, one last good battle. You know, I'm going to go in there, maybe we're going to try out some fun sets on Pokemon that I might never draft again, so why not try to make something cool happen with them? I haven't really decided. You know, whatever happens, we're going to try, but whether or not it's a super, this team is the best it can be, or like, all right, this set still could work, but it's like, I don't know, let's think about Machamp. It's like Calm Mind Machamp. Obviously, I don't have that, so I'm not going to reveal any of my bad wacky sets. Just something more along those lines. Either way, I am in another league, another draft league, the P4G, or Pokemon for Glory League. And if you guys are New Orleans Pelippers fans, it would mean a lot to me if you guys could cheer for me in that league. Now that my GBA season is ended, I mean, I still have 2 more videos. I'm going to do my last press conference, probably like a wrap-up video too, so maybe 3, and then the last battle. But beyond that, I have a new season. It's going to be a full season. I'm really excited for it. I'm going to put everything I have into that, as I really feel like I need to redeem myself in the draft league format, and I really need to, you know, I feel like this battle proved to myself that I can stick with the best. I can still play at the highest level in this draft league format. I can prep as well as anyone, and I can play as well as anyone, but I can't finish the game apparently, and I need to really show myself, and I feel like I need to prove to some people that I still can play at that level, and hopefully, you know, through this other league I can, and if I come back for Season 7 of the GBA, I can come back even stronger and have a much better season than I did this time. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for supporting me this season. It's meant a lot. This is the worst season we've ever had, and you guys stuck with me, you know, every game. It's been a tough season. There's been a lot of losses that were tough, and only a few of them were 100% just because someone just outplayed me and there was nothing else, no other factors. And it's been very hard mentally to just keep coming back, keep fighting, and it feels like every time I'm in a spot to get myself back where I want to be, something happens and it's gone. So thank you guys so much. Also, if you guys, well, you're not rooting for me in the playoffs, so go root for my buddy Septile MC in the playoffs. I really hope that he can get back to the championship and actually win it this time. He was so close last time, and I'd love to see him break through and win it all. Unfortunate that I had to go out going against him, but, you know, if there's anyone else I would have rather made the playoffs over me, it would have been him. So at least something good came out of this. That is going to be it. This has been a lot of rambling. If you actually made it this far, you're amazing and I love you. But I will talk to you guys later. So until then, guys, peace.